please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Warami Miriga, Nalawa. Hello and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and the invitation to welcome you here this afternoon. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. And so he enrolled his daughter, Bullingari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up by Governor Macquarie himself in 1815, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement, our advancement. Now that was probably better understood in traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by the strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he encountered a people whom he described as one of the happiest people he'd ever met. Now, they were naked, owned nothing but the tools they carried, and made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down. They harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. And these were not primitive societies, these were ancient cultures. So there was no slavery, no armies, no rich and poor, no rents or mortgages, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So remember, this is not an ideal or golden age, or this was normal life for the longest time, and not too long ago either. I don't think there is any reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us. However, we're a clever people, and there is still much magic in the world, I believe. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is good and we are normally a very happy people. I would say share your gifts with the rest of us and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. Do this and I'm confident that together we can put together a world and a future that we can be proud of and one that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you and welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, Professor Bruce Doughton, who will preside at today's ceremony.
Well, thank you, Chris Tobin, for your welcome to country. It's always good to have you here, and I appreciate the informative nature of your welcome and the warmth of your welcome as well. It's great to have you here. Thank you for being here. Well, colleagues, guests, families and friends of our graduands, and most importantly, of course, the graduands yourselves. It is my distinct honour and pleasure to preside at today's graduation ceremony and to offer a warm welcome to everyone here gathered. I bring our graduands the special greetings of our University Council and the Chancellor, who is on a leave of absence. I hope that this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. I did see as I came into the graduation hall today a couple of small children and even a baby I thought I saw, and I want you to know that they are also especially welcome. I also want you to know that we don't expect young children to stay still or quiet in a graduation over an hour and 30 minutes or so. It doesn't worry us at all. I mean, I'm a paediatrician by profession, so I've heard far worse in my consulting rooms as I was examining children, I can assure you. And if the Chancellor were here as a retired politician, he would tell you that he's heard far worse rancour in the Parliament as well. So if there are young children here, run around, have a great time, make as much commotion as you like, because we believe that all celebrations are the better for having children be a part of them. Today we celebrate your wonderful achievements as graduands of Macquarie University. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices along the way as well. You've all worked very hard to get here today and have every right to feel very proud of what you have accomplished. We at the university are just as proud of those accomplishments, and I'm pleased to be able to congratulate each of you on behalf of the university today. I also want to especially welcome the families to my left and on my right at the rear, families and friends and supporters of our graduands here with us today. The fact that you have been invited here to participate in probably what is one of the most important ceremonial occasions these folks will go through in their lives is proof positive that you have been a very important influence on their lives. So to our invited guests, congratulations to you as well, and thank you for being here and celebrating in this grand ceremonial occasion with us as well. Now, graduands, you may not realise, but you are about to participate in one of Europe's oldest social rituals. If you were to pick a date of, say, 1500 AD and look to see what social institutions were around then that are still around to this very day in the world, there are about 60. If you leave aside the Roman Catholic Church, the parliaments of England, Iceland and the Isle of Man, and 6 Swiss cantons or local government regions, all of the rest of those old institutions are universities. So we are part of a very long tradition. In fact, graduation ceremonies are even older than that. For more than 800 years, graduands of universities have been donning gowns just like the ones you are wearing today and participating in ceremonies very similar to the one we are about to embark upon. And since those earliest graduations, the ceremony has remained largely unchanged and is the defining feature of what life as a university and as a student of a university is all about. We all realise, of course, that Macquarie University is not one of those ancient universities, as we are just over 50 years old. Though we are among the youngest universities in the world, we are very proud to take part in this time-honoured ceremony here today. Youth, institutionally, does have its advantages, ladies and gentlemen. Macquarie University is a very modern and outward-looking university. We are regarded as one of Australia's leading research-intensive universities, are continually making progress, extending our research, our course offerings, and improving our facilities. We now have more than 190,000 graduates living in more than 140 countries around the world. It's very clear that we are a forward-looking university and that we are on the move. However, some of the things which we all value so much about Macquarie University, I hope will never change. Over my 6 and a bit years leading this wonderful institution, I have had many visitors to the university note the friendliness of our staff, our students, and the welcome they make to visitors. I anticipate that that will always be so, and remember, graduands, you will always be welcome back at Macquarie University. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, in my view, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements, ladies and gentlemen, were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. Those of us educated in New South Wales learned that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy actually had nothing to do with the buildings that we see in downtown Sydney and outskirts of Sydney, which he founded. In fact, it was the ethos that he established in the colony, much, I would add, to the annoyance of the British authorities at the time, of an egalitarian society that is Macquarie's greatest legacy to Australia. Because it was, in fact, as the governor, his insistence that in this fledgling convict colony there be no distinction between the free man and the freed man. That is, if you'd been a convict and had served your time, you were to be treated no differently than a man who arrived as a free settler. And we believe that is the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for everyone. And certainly that is the legacy here at Macquarie University, which we will always aim to maintain and honour. Now, notwithstanding Macquarie's greatness, it is fair to acknowledge that some of his actions would certainly not pass muster today. Removing Aboriginal children from their families, even for the purpose of their own education, would certainly not be tolerated today. I wonder how many things we all today accept, which we will look back on one day with shame. One of the attributes I hope that Macquarie University will always impart to all of its students is the capacity for moral and ethical reflection, and a yearning always to help right the wrongs, not just of the past, but of our own time. Macquarie University will always be a leader in teaching and learning, and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. In ideal words, a community of scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly our graduands, I offer you the warmest of welcomes to Macquarie University on this grand occasion. And in just a few moments, it will be my very great honour to confer upon you, our graduands, your degrees, and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Graduands, congratulations. It is our pleasure at today's ceremony to honour, in accordance with a resolution of the University Council, Ms. Fiona Crosbie, for admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, of Macquarie University. I now invite Professor Kevin Jameson, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, to please read the citation.
Vice-Chancellor. Ms. Fiona Crosbie was appointed Chairman of leading international law firm Allens in January 2017, becoming the first woman to lead the firm in its near 200-year history and joining a small but rapidly growing group of women in senior leadership roles across the profession. Ms. Crosbie has been a partner at Allens for 15 years. She advises clients in merger clearances, access matters, cartel and other antitrust investigations, and litigation. She is often called on to assist companies in formulating regulatory strategies where the ACCC is a key stakeholder. Ms. Crosbie's expertise spans a range of industries, including aviation, financial services, manufacturing, media, retail, resources, telecommunications, and the pharmaceutical and medical device industries. Ms. Crosbie has been involved in many of the largest and most complex merger clearances in Australia, including working with International Council and Economists on global mergers. She has acted in high-profile competition cases, including proceedings that established the application of legal professional privilege to investigations brought by the competition regulator, proceedings alleging collusive conduct by major retail chains, and seminal cases on the misuse of market power. Ms. Crosbie is the immediate past chair of the Competition and Consumer Committee of the Law Council of Australia and is an active speaker on regulatory and competition issues. She is a member of the board of the Children's Medical Research Institute, where she chairs the Institute's Audit and Risk Committee. Ms. Crosbie graduated from Macquarie University in 1985 with a combined degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Law. Vice-Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present to you Ms. Fiona Crosbie for the award of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, in recognition of her contribution to the law.
Ms. Fiona Crosbie, in the name of Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. It's now my great pleasure to invite Dr. Crosbie to deliver the occasion address. Dr. Crosbie.
Vice-Chancellor, members of the university, and most importantly, you the graduands and your family and your friends. This is a great day and you should just take a moment and you should breathe and you should luxuriate in a well-deserved sense of pride and achievement. I too would like to start by acknowledging country and thank Chris Tobin for his really inspiring welcome to country. I am really thrilled to receive this award today and deeply humbled by it. In this occasional address, I've been asked to reflect on my time here through older eyes and share some perhaps inspirational insights, so I'm going to do my best. Let me say at the outset, I really did love my time here at Macquarie, but I suspect I would love it more now, for much has changed for the better. Macquarie has really grown in its reputation, both domestically and internationally, the breadth of subjects that you can now study here, and of course the campus is more beautiful and there is promise of much more to come. Now, just for some nostalgia, I still remember my very first law subject here. It was called The Structure of Law, and we were told that it was all about learning law in context. Our tutor was a modern man. He would bring a cask of Moselle. My children instruct me that's called goon these days. And it was accompanied by cubes of cheddar cheese. I felt really quite cosmopolitan at the time, but inevitably the more wine that was consumed, the less any law was touched upon and the more context was explored. And after our tutorials, we would make our way to mark scenes, at which point the sense of sophistication would just be taken to a whole new level. Nowadays, as a competition lawyer, I think back on the old mark scenes price structure, and I can't believe the 400% price premium we paid over the cafeteria functional alternative. To the actuaries and students of finance here today, as you venture into the world of business, you should remember the Marxian economic model of the early 1980s, for it is a perfect paradox. Monopoly rents, supernormal profits, allocative and productive inefficiency, and yet very happy customers. I suspect it's a sociologist here who can really work out what was happening there, but in any case, meeting at Marxians was always the best kind of tutorial. The counselling offered by one's peers was affirming, the debate was passionate, if not well informed, and there wonderful lifelong friendships were formed. Now I'm going to discard nostalgia and just get cracking and share some thoughts which I hope you may find interesting. I'm sure you'll agree that there's no shortage of advice for you out there. You'll be told you need to be agile. You'll be told you need to get a mentor, to develop and nurture your personal brand, to learn how to sell yourself and to network relentlessly. Now, no doubt all of these things are somewhat true, but I'm not sure I really ever understood any of that, and frankly, it all feels a bit complex to me. When I'm asked what I think is the key to professional satisfaction, my answer is simple and it's twofold. First, to be decent to colleagues and to everyone else you meet along the way. And second, to try and start every week keen to learn something new. And that does take effort and reflection and humility in a busy world that is, quite frankly, disinclined to provide you with the necessary time and at times encouragement. As to being decent, well, that's not rocket science. You can be tough and you can be highly strategic, but if you are sharp or tricky, your colleagues and the broader profession will notice it and remember it. You will only be trusted if you are trustworthy. It is utterly obvious, but I am always surprised at how often otherwise clever people underestimate the legibility of their conduct when it is duplicitous, unkind, or unfair. As to the preparedness to keep learning with humility, I thought I would share some occasions where that has been demonstrated by really remarkable people in the profession who, one would think, had really nothing more to learn. Starting with my very first file, as a brand new junior in a law firm, I was involved on the team that was to run the Royal Commission into the convictions of Lindy and Michael Chamberlain. You might recall that Lindy Chamberlain was convicted of the murder of her baby Azaria at Ayers Rock, and she was sentenced to life imprisonment. The Royal Commission team was formed to have another look at the matter, and ultimately the convictions were set aside. The team was led by Chester Porter QC, who in the eyes of many was the prince of the criminal bar. When he defended a number of high-profile alleged criminals and secured their acquittal against all expectations, newspapers ran headlines that read, "Chester Porter walks on water." Our first meeting took place in the boardroom of a large law firm with exhibits from earlier inquiries and the trial. You can imagine the scene, a conference room filled with tents, pieces of the Toyota in which the arterial bloodstain was allegedly discovered. And there were dozens of babies' cardigans, known then as matinee jackets, most of which had been tested on dogs in order to answer the question, could a dingo remove the jacket? Because if not, the inference was that Lindy had done so, and that was contrary to her evidence of what took place on the fateful night. Now, Chester Porter was fascinated by the potential invalidity of this testing, and he posed the question, are these matinee jackets hand-knitted or machine-knitted? Fiona, you're the only woman on the team, you're sure to know, come over here and inspect the matinee jacket. Now, I looked at the matinee jacket very, very carefully, but I didn't need to because it was completely obvious that they were machine knitted. Notwithstanding, I responded to Mr. Porter, "Sadly, Chester, I just wouldn't have a clue." Now, the next morning, I received a call from Chester Porter's clerk. He would like to see me as a matter of urgency. I crawled my way up Phillip Street, very, very nervous. I entered the Dickensian nightmare that was his chambers, files everywhere, wrapped in pink ribbon, large portraits of Chester painted by inmates from Long Bay, and he asked me to take a seat. He explained that the night before he had discussed the events of his day with his family, which concluded with his wife and 3 daughters telling him that he needed to apologise to me. And he said, "Fiona, I shouldn't have assumed that you would know the difference between a handwritten and machine-knitted matinee jacket just because you're the only woman on the team. Would you please accept my sincere apology?" I promptly did so, and we shook hands, and for the next 18 months during that Royal Commission, I learned a great deal from working alongside him, even though I was the most junior member of that large team. I learned a lot about advocacy, the importance of marrying facts with logic and analysis with emotional appeal if you want to win really difficult cases. So here was Chester Porter, an advocate with a stellar reputation, a giant of the profession, and yet on some issues he was still learning and he was still finding his way. Another instance of humility and keenness to learn emerged a few years later from a conference with the late Peter Healy QC. At that time, Peter Healy was regarded as Australia's preeminent commercial silk. He was enormously well respected, both as a barrister and subsequently as a federal court judge. In this particular conference, he was explaining that written submissions to the High Court need to be very, very succinct, and they needed to be crafted with exquisite care. Almost like a sonnet, he said. Or, piped up the junior solicitor, perhaps a haiku. Haiku, responded Peter Healy, spelt. He swiveled in his oversized chair and returned with a very large dictionary in his lap. You can see this is a tale from a former time. He then read aloud, a very short form of Japanese poetry in 3 phrases. A haiku, yes, thank you. So Peter Healy, at the very summit of his profession, was keen to continue to learn and completely content to be seen to be doing so. Now, to Justice Stephen Gageler of the High Court, he once wrote an article in which he emphasised that the contribution all professionals make to social justice, that contribution is always greatest when they do and are keen to do a good job for their clients. He relays that after spending a weekend conference with an electricity expert, he received what he considers to be the highest compliment of his career. He was told that he thinks like an engineer. Learning from other disciplines is becoming more and more crucial, but it does require a certain humility and preparedness to set aside the presumption that your own tools are sufficient for the task at hand. And so to come full circle, I thought I would just share in conclusion the experience of listening to Julie Brill, the then Federal Trade Commissioner, tell her story in Washington almost a decade ago. Really an extraordinary person, and she was asked by quite a few people how many mentors she'd had in her career. And she responded, none, yet many. So that is a second and final paradox in this address. She was referring to the fact that she'd never had a formal mentor, but in observing others closely, with an open mind, she'd learned a great deal. Young lawyers, particularly young women lawyers, often ask me about the importance of mentors and role models, and both are wonderful things if you can stumble upon them in your career. But personally, I think it's more a matter of mindset. It may sound a little homespun, but I personally keep a small book in which I make a note when I see someone do something really well, because of course, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. And unaccustomed as I am to making admissions, my book now comprises several volumes, and I write in it now more than I ever have in the past. So these instances, while in themselves seemingly trivial and no doubt quickly forgotten by the people I refer to, they nonetheless left a lasting impression on me. And perhaps this at least illustrates how important it is to take care as to the traces that you will leave, and to do your utmost to ensure that those traces and the recollections that you inspire are always worthy of your very best instincts. My heartfelt congratulations to all of you upon your achievements so far, and my best wishes to you for your continued success and happiness. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there we have, I believe, among the finest of graduation addresses as the occasional speaker. What a wonderful set of vignettes of stories from your own professional career, of really sound wisdom from Dr. Crosbie in that address. Simple messages about decency, about continuous learning. As a physician among many lawyers here today and business people, I had to stop and think about that wonderful phrase, the legibility of conduct, which I would urge us all to think about that always. And I mean, the learnings from other disciplines. A long while ago, I learned a very tough lesson from the law as a physician. My then wife was a law student, and I went along to give expert testimony in a moot court competition in a medical case in a moot court. And the young lawyers in the group absolutely slayed me. And the wonderful advice I learned on that occasion was when she said to me afterwards, "You need to keep your mouth shut, and you need to remember there are only 4 answers when you're under duress. Yes, no, I don't know, and I don't remember. Anything beyond that, think 10 times. I'm sure you all know that." It was a wonderful occasional address. I thank you for being here. Please join me in thanking Dr. Crosbie again. As the Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees upon those who have complied with all of the university's requirements for such awards. I now call upon our Registrar, Ms. Gail White, to formally certify the eligibility of all those who have met the requirements for these awards. Ms. White.
Vice-Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
In the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority delegated from the Council as Vice-Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Business and Economics and the Faculty of Arts. I now call on Professor Stephen Brammer, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics, to present the graduates from his faculty. Professor Brammer.
Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony from the Faculty of Business and Economics. The Faculty of Business and Economics is the largest faculty at Macquarie University and one of the largest in Australia. We are an applied, engaged and global business school. Our role is to create knowledge through applied research in the areas of marketing, management, finance, economics, actuarial studies and accounting. Working with our academic and corporate partners, students and alumni, we create and share research that addresses business and societal challenges. Our programs are innovative and include engagement with industry, as well as the development of employability skills. The skills developed are in demand globally. Our programs are recognised and accredited by key industry bodies, and we enjoy a strong reputation amongst the business and professional communities. Our graduates have starting salaries well above the average for all Australian business schools. These graduates have the skills, knowledge and purpose to make a positive contribution to their families, to their communities and to the world. Vice-Chancellor, I'm proud to present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics whom you've admitted to degrees. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics whom you've admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. Jessica Coorey. Dong Kyu Kim. Dylan Kovacevic. Bak Jia Lei. Junjie Lee. Yachi Lee. Sir Chun Liang. Xiao Tao Liang. Yuan Yung Mao. Anisha Ann Matthew. Simon Paul Murray. Zerchi O. Yu Meng Pan. Taylor Pascale. Ning Chen. Jack Salome. Yujun Seng. Yi Chuan Shi. Chris Tan. Chu Hong Douglas Ting. Xiang Cheng Wang. Zhenfang Wang. Pascuelge Don Lahiru Sunet Wickramasinghe. Nicholas Leslie Wormsley. Chongling Wu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Marketing and Media, Indiana Luthra. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Commerce. Mi Lin Bui. David Martin Healy, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Zhe Liu. Rohit Padmanabhan. Cheng Tung. Asadi Kavindika Vijasekara Jayawardena. Vice-Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Business and Economics.
Thank you, Professor Brown. Vice-Chancellor, I now call on Professor Reynolds, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates from his faculty. Professor Reynolds.
Vice-Chancellor, the graduates for the rest of this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Students and staff in this faculty work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems. They identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on the skills and knowledge that they will need to understand the world, past, present and future. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous studies, geography and planning, international studies, law, media, music, communication and cultural studies, modern history, politics and international relations, philosophy, sociology, and security studies and criminology. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Jacob Matthew Rock. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours, Laura Maria Andreazza. Matthew James Blundell. Maria Cecilia Ferreira. Andrew John Marcelos. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours First Class Honours, Christopher John Beck. Jasmine Jevahajian. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours. Erin Chapman. Natasha Louise Cutler. Madeline Holm. Danielle Mirazi. Lachlan Muir. Taylor Elise Murphy. Nicole Sebay. Adeline Margaret Technitas. Chloe Tutt. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours First Class, Natalie Harvell. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Nicole Marie Mouet. Elise O'Hara. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours First Class, Max Evans. Raymond Mako. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours, Samuel Burrell. Emily Brooks Devoren. Laura Marie Fabry. Zach Fitzroy. Monique Claire Fraser. Jessica Elizabeth Haddad.
Oriana Christina Izgi. Anne-Marie Matthias. Nina Samarczyk. Kristen Therese Seraphim. Sarah Slavnik. James Randall Snowden. Oscar Sabalarov. Yuekai Sophie Wong. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours First Class Honours. Harriet Tansy Ashton Maxwell. Lucy Sarah Aylwood. Jemima Bissett. Prishetta Shan. Thomas Robert Haggerty. George Warden. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours. James Harajanian. Julianne Constantine Antonescu. Ricardo Aruja Faria. Bronte Callahan. Danielle Francis. Kristen Frangi. Harrison Michael Kay. Matthew John Kozlowski. Amanda Hui Xian Lim. Sarah Angela Mazurko. Nicholas Ovcharek. Rebecca Rajanayagam. Emily Ranson. Greta Madeline Smart. Vanessa Van. Gabrielle Vesic. Andrew Warden. Delini Janitika Wijisina. Chantal Johanna Golandandi. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Professional Accounting with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours. Jacob Herman. Kush Sud. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Professional Accounting with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours. Brandon John Chakti. Thomas Joseph Hyam. Lara Hedeh. Shannon James O'Donnell. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environment with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, First Class Honours, Amelia Jane Cook. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environment with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Caitlin Teresa Polo. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Psychology, Honours First Class, with the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Honours First Class, Nicola Charlotte Irwin Fawkes. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Justin Elton. Caitlin Alveri. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Studies with the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Isabel Kirsten. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance with the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Jackson Bird. Amanda Fifi Doe. Hayden Keha. Joshua Adam Morefoot. Ifeanyi Anene. And I should have mentioned, Vice-Chancellor, that Ifeanyi is a graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the degree of Bachelor of Laws, as is Gina Bay. Danielle Bonanno. Mary Habashi. Olivia Hua. Yolanda Eugenie Keogh. George Alexander Kimenos. Angelina Jessie Lee. Sajida Murad. Sally Rodsen. Summer Rose Walker. Angela Therese White. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, Professional Accounting with the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Joseph Coucho. B.O. Tang. Alison Kate Walsh. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Laws. Alexander George Amaditis. Ryan Bothma. Lachlan Howard Burt. Nicholas Ching Chan. Dulari Manau Chalia. Pradip Dilshan Dasanaika. Karina Diek. Amelia Maureen Favetti. Eleanor Grogan. Jemana Allison Hanania. Buse Harper. Ross Jordan Yanello. Kudbu Kang. Damien Kaushik. Brooke Johanna Kirk. Alyssa Josephine Kritikos. Ravin Kumarasiri. Corey Lian. Brandon Leasing Rowlands. Vaishnav Madhav Rao. Charlo Jan Maniakup. Chloe Jo Mansell. Adam Marinelli. Anna Madeline Doherty Markley. Luke Meehan. Andrew Gregory Monahan. Jessica Park. Lisa Philpotts. Oliver Roberts. Zachary David Salter. Oliver Andrew Saxton. Kathleen Spratt. Hugh Strath Stevenson. Rachel Louise Tracy. Vincent Yin. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environment with the degree of Bachelor of Laws. Benjamin James William Collins. Joseph McLean Druitt. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Isaiah Thompson. Sheena Lokian Way. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Kayla Adams. Veronica Cherubino. Jane Elizabeth Freudenstein. Christo Leclerc. Casey Michelle Martin. Alison Sarita Morton. Madison Lee Ryan. Catherine Ulrich. Adelaide Sarah Charlotte Waller. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Philosophy, Emeka Elizabeth Jones. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science, Hamish Britt Lewis. Alana J. Coleman. James Lucas Johnston. Madeline Johanna Klemmer. Man Luen Lau. Mimosa Hannah Paul. Daniela Rojas Richards. Summer Elizabeth Sin Wilmot. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations with the degree of Master of International Trade and Commerce Law, Matthew Samuel Hunter. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Environmental Law, Kelly Louise Wood, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Great. I present the graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Law, Governance and Public Policy, Daniel Keith Casham Harrison. Harsha Dilampatawati Witanage. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Trade and Commerce Law. Suprakit Angsu Singha. Masha Astanay. Giovanni Cabiles Concepcion. Katipoin Piriachita. Pirumpich Piriachita. Fong Wen Vu. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Policy and Applied Social Research. Rada Abdullah Akasime. Lyndall Marie Manson. Bonnie Michelle Millen. Romy Elizabeth Osterheld, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research, April Lillian Miles, for a thesis entitled I Don't Like It, a comparative analysis of emotions in the political rhetoric of Pauline Hanson from 1996 to 98 and 2016 to 2018. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the degree of Bachelor of Laws Honours First Class with the University Medal for Law, Rhiannon Alyssa Bell. And finally, Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research with the University Medal for Sociology, Elizabeth Courtney Bennett, for a thesis, there's more, for a thesis entitled At the Frontier, Gender Diverse Professionals in Corporate Workplaces and LGBT+ Support Mechanisms in Sydney, Australia. Vice-Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Vice-Chancellor, I call on Ms Monique Claire Fraser, who has graduated today with a Bachelor of Commerce and a Bachelor of Laws Honours to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Ms. Fraser.
Vice-Chancellor, members of the university, fellow graduates and guests, it is an honour to be here today representing the graduating class on this very special occasion. Each one of us has taken a different route on our academic journey, be it going on exchange, taking a break from study, or jumping between degrees until we decided what we actually want to be when we grow up. Regardless of which path you took, the point is that you made it here today. For me, upon starting at Macquarie, I was keen to get ahead academically and embrace university life to the fullest. I had the most honourable of intentions. I am going to attend every lecture, and I am definitely going to submit my assignment before the last minute. I even signed up for first year law camp, keen for a weekend of getting on top of all of those pre-readings. But, as for many of you I'm sure, my first semester did not quite go as planned. Those positive mantras had fallen to the curb by mid-semester break, and it turned out that not even one textbook was opened on law camp. In the midst of this though, I was meeting some pretty impressive peers, many of whom have gone on to become some of my great friends. And from there on, we were in it together. And we started each semester much like the last. The same aspirational, yet ultimately unsuccessful mantras, and plenty more university events, which didn't always involve very much studying. But regardless of whether you excelled academically or proudly lived the P's Get Degrees philosophy, all of those hours of study and procrastination have paid off and should be celebrated today. But graduates, while it's nice to have the spotlight on us, I think we can agree that we could not have got here without some help. Firstly, Macquarie University has given us a place to thrive. So thank you to our lecturers and tutors for the hours you invested in educating, encouraging, and inspiring us to achieve the degrees we've been awarded today. Macquarie also provided us with the infamous U-Bar, a place to meet like-minded students and share some glasses of much-needed liquid courage to survive each exam period. Secondly, to the fellow students that we shared notes, discussions, or drinks with over the years. You are who made coming to uni not just academically stimulating, but also a lot of fun. So thank you for your camaraderie and together making sure that we survived all of those group assignments. Finally, our families and support systems. I'm proud to have my mum, dad, and grandpa here today to celebrate this achievement. To everyone on this side of the room and up the back, we could not have done this without you. You've encouraged us to persevere when it all seemed a little bit too hard, fed us when we were madly cramming to meet those deadlines, and reminded us that there is more to life than those highly sought after HDs. We are immensely grateful for the opportunities you have afforded us and the enduring support that we have received throughout not just our university studies, but our lives so far. Graduates, whether you're continuing on to further study, entering the workforce, or aren't quite sure what life has in store for you just yet, I wish you every success for your future endeavours. So congratulations, graduates. We did it.
Well, Monique, thank you very much for your responsorial address there and your thanks on behalf of the graduating class. And I think Monique has put a very good perspective on your studies there, and I would urge you, particularly those of you who are going out to work in the major law firms, to always remember the advice about it's not all about that HD. It's not always all about those extra hours that you might think you need to put in and others might put upon you to put in as well. And her thanks really resound around the room as well, and I'll return to that in a moment. Monique, congratulations on your degree and thank you for a wonderful speech. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wonderful voice belongs to Ms. Yvette Masters, who has joined us today at short notice. Our usual operatic diva, Ms. Angela Brewer, is unwell, and I'm certainly delighted that Ms. Masters was able to join us today for a beautiful rendition. Please join me in thanking her again. I'd also like to thank our other expert musicians on the organ, Dr. James Forsyth, and the trumpet, Ms. Melanie McLaughlin on the trumpet. Now, on either side of the auditorium, we have representatives of the alumni community who come along to help make sure that the proceedings move very smoothly, and many of them are very loyal. They come to many graduations. I'd like you to join me in thanking the alumni volunteers as well. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of that bigger Macquarie University family, which is our alumni, and part of a network, as I mentioned earlier in the proceedings, of over now 190,000 alumni spanning the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office and hope you will come back here to visit the campus, to attend alumni events, to undertake more study, or perhaps simply to just have a wander around on the beautiful campus. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges with it. But like all privileges, it also carries serious responsibilities. I urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, just as Dr. Crosbie did earlier. I urge you to set ambitious goals for yourselves. I urge you to continue to work hard and continue the work that has already brought you so far. I urge you also to think about how you can help others along the way. You don't have to do very much sometimes to make a big difference in another person's life. And you don't have to be Einstein to change the world either. Sometimes just a simple, small gesture of kindness or a kind word can mean an enormous amount to the recipient. So I urge you all, always, to give thought to what you can do for others along the way. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet along life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned here with us, not only for your own benefit, but for the benefit and betterment of your communities. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. I hope also that you will always remember the people who have helped you out along the way, many of whom are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do a couple of things. First, I would like all of our new graduates to please stand up. I'd like you to turn around and place your testimonies on your seats behind you and turn to face your family and friends. And I now invite you to give them a mighty round of applause in thanks and appreciation. Now you might turn around now, but don't sit down just yet. Here on the platform are representatives of our academic staff who have supported you throughout your journey as well. Please join me in thanking them as well. Graduates, please remain standing, but do turn around and pick up your testimony from the seat behind you, since the official party will soon leave the auditorium, followed by the graduates. As we do, Dr. Forsyth will play the traditional recessional music of graduations, which has been played at ceremonies just like this over the centuries. An age-old set of Latin lyrics which begins as Gadayamus igitur, nos habebit juventutum. In translation, this age-old graduation exit song starts out, therefore let us rejoice, for we will always be young. The song speaks in a whimsical way of youth and old age at the very same time, of the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, of city, of state, and indeed of happiness. Again, to the newest graduates of Macquarie University, my warmest congratulations and every best wish for your futures filled with success, satisfaction, and most importantly, happiness. Now might I invite everyone to please stand. Shortly I will leave the official party out, followed by the graduates. I then invite you all to join us down by the marquee for some light refreshments. In closing today's wonderful celebration, I say again, Gadayamus igitur, let us therefore rejoice.